Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Talladega Superspeedway. We are here to qualify for tomorrow morning's race here from the largest oval on the circuit, hence I said largest oval. We do have a few road courses that are longer than Talladega. But regardless of the fact, we're here for tomorrow's Mountain Dew 500, the 12th race of the season in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. What a season it has been so far. 11 different winners in 11 races, 12 if you count the Miliello Smooth Fest when Brian Webb won that one. And I have a good feeling, and I don't know why, but I have a feeling that we're going to get our first two-time winner tomorrow morning in this Mountain Dew 500. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. We're here to qualify, however, and qualifying here, you know, it matters for these guys in the uncharted session, but for the rest of the field, it really doesn't matter too much where you start here. We do see a lot of cycling. As a matter of fact, I do believe this race had more lead changes than any other race last year, and we anticipate more of the same in tomorrow's 47-lap event. No pit stops, so it's just like it was 2 weeks ago at Bristol. No pit stops at Bristol. No pit stops here at Talladega, though we've always done it that way in the Wawa Cup Series. There's really no need for us to go down the pit lane because they're going to be passing plenty well enough on the racetrack in tomorrow's race. Top 5 advance on here in the uncharted session, and then the highest hot seat driver. If the highest hot seat driver is already in the top 5, then the 6th place driver in line advances on. So far, we have yet to use that hot seat provisional this season, so a hot seat driver has made their way into the top 6 each race so far this season. Matt Black is in the number 90. He actually won the Lenovo Pro Series Championship at this racetrack a year ago. Won the Lenovo Pro Series race. Carson Miller won the championship. What am I kidding? Matt Black won the race. He won the finale in the Lenovo Pro Series here back at the end of the season in December last year. There's Dylan Matthews in 05. She's trying to make her second start of the season. Only one driver who is full-time in the Uncharted ride has yet to make a start. That is Johnson Jameson in the 27. And he currently is 4th of the 4 guys who have gotten a full lap under speed. Of course, these guys are in a group session, but there really isn't anyone out there except for Jared Martin and the 42 of Chris Reynolds, who are in a pack right here. So expect these two guys to move their way up. Jared Martin did so in that 96 machine. Of course, like I mentioned, it is Chris Reynolds in the 42 machine. You got the 91 there, Marcus Glitch this weekend, attempting the 91 there for Evans Ross Racing. And then the number 14, that is Campbell Marsh in the 14 machine there for Grattan Autosport. Dylan Matthews to the top of the board in the 05. She got a pull right there off of Matt Black in the 90. Great run for her right there. You got the 06, or 96, I should say. 06 is the full-time, right? 96 there of Jared Martin. 45, Daytona 500 champion Eric Monaco. Last time we were on the Super Speedway was the Daytona 500. And Eric Monaco got the biggest win of his career in that one. I know he'd love to go back after it on the Super Speedway here at Talladega. 96 machine there as well. That is Jared Martin, as I have mentioned 3 times already. Did you know that the 96 is Jared Martin? Chris Reynolds is 4th. Marcus Glitch, I almost said Nathan Meyer. Marcus Glitch is in the 91 this weekend. I already said that too. And then Aaron Lukes holding on to that last spot. So 2 notable drivers, actually 3 notable drivers who have not found their way into the Fast Sixes. You got the 90 machine of Matt Black moving his way into the top 6 right there. Darian Arnsdorf, Zayden Davison, and Carson Miller. Those are the 3 guys who have had the most success so far, the most starts of any of these Uncharted drivers this season. Arnsdorf with 7, Miller and Davison both with 8. Miller has actually not made a start, if I'm not mistaken, since Darlington. He's missed the last 2 Wawa Cup Series races. J.R. Ribbleton has just gone to 3rd in the number 82. Watch out for this line. And I thought the 27 had a shot there, getting a good lap in there, and decided to head down the pit lane. Dylan Matthews is still the quickest. Zay Davison leading in this little pack right here. That's not going to really work out too well for him. But it's going to work out well for Matt Black in the 90, who's going to probably make it into the show with that run right there, pulling off of Dylan Matthews in the 05. Titan Fury and Racing Motorsports in particular have a lot of success here on the super speedways. Though here at Talladega, this race was actually won by a Pacific Racing car last year with Thomas Trotzel. Roladorn won here in 2023 with the defunct Full Frontal Motorsports. J.R. Ribbleton is second quickest. Eric Monaco. I said Matt Black was going to be fine, and there he is now in 5th. These guys back here all got in a line. Carson Miller getting passed on that inside there by J.R. Ribbleton, and that's probably going to keep him from getting a good time and being able to make it in. But J.R. Ribbleton looking to make only his second start of the season, and his first start was at Daytona in the Daytona 500. That is his only start of the year so far, and it looks like the Hairshell 82 is going to make it in for only the second time in the season. That's the case for Dylan Matthews in the 05 as well, and that does it for uncharted qualifying here from Talladega. It will be Dylan Matthews, J.R. Ribbleton, Eric Monaco, Chris Reynolds, Matt Black, and Jared Martin racing their way into the Mountain Dew 500 here from Talladega. Zane Davidson, Darian Arnsdorf, and Carson Miller all failed to qualify. So does Aaron Lukes, Campbell Marsh, Marcus Glitch, Haley Anderson Jr., and Johnson Jameson, still the only driver yet to make a race this season in that number 27. Let's go ahead to Group A and see who makes it into the Fast 6. If you make it into the Fast 6 and you got a good car, you got a shot at the pole. This is going to be a very interesting qualifying session. We're probably going to get a first-time pole sitter here. Maybe. Or maybe Duncan Ward will get his 4th pole. We'll see in just a moment. Let's get to Group A here from Talladega. And here we go to qualifying Group A here at the Talladega Superspeedway. And we're excited to see who gets the pole position. And keep in mind, too, and I don't think I've mentioned it too much throughout the year in these qualifying sessions, but pole sitter gets a point towards the championship. And that could go a long way, especially if you're someone like Duncan Ward, who currently sits in the 5th position. And if it weren't for that bonus points for the poles, he'd sit in the 6th position in points, as he's only 1 point ahead of Bryce Egan for that 5th position in the standings right now. So those poles go a long way in terms of the points, and of course points are very, very important here in the Wawa Cup Series. The only reset is after the 22nd race, and then from there on out, those last 10 races mean everything in terms of winning the Wawa Cup Series title. This guy is hoping that he is a part of that. That is Travis Crampton in the 98, who is still the points leader by 27 points ahead of Laura Chung. Great run for him last week at Rockingham. Got a top 10 finish in that wacky race that we had at the Rock. Very strange what happened there. And I would like to point out, and I feel like the qualifying session is the debrief for the prior race. I've had a week to think about how the race went and what happened in it. And I always talk about, what happened in those races that we did a week ago in these qualifying sessions. But I will say, that is, if I'm not mistaken, and I genuinely believe that it is, the longest green flag run that we have ever had at the Rockingham Speedway in any race on the channel. And I think that just threw those drivers and teams for a loop in terms of the tire strategy and just how much time you lose on worn-out tires there at Rockingham. About a 3.5 second fall off in that one. And some guys took a chance, and some guys still got a good run, including Daniel Paulus Jr., who took a chance coming down the pit lane there on that last restart, just before the last restart, and he ended up getting a top 5 finish out of it. And he now sits 11th in points. He's actually ahead of Blaine Keys in the standings right now as Trey Bartow just blew up. That's inconvenient. He may not get back around and get reset to get another lap in. And then you got all these guys who are getting a bad launch off, and that might affect them a little bit. Travis Crampton, you got all this space, dude. You can go either way, and you choose to stand right behind him. You gotta love this game sometimes. You can see the whole screen is track. He could go left or right, and he chooses to stay behind him. I don't know. I just don't know. I love this game. I love this game to death, but sometimes I'm just curious as to what they were smoking in Watertown, Massachusetts 23 years ago. I mean that in a very good way. They did a great job with this game. So Eric Monaco now is the fastest driver. Not much of a surprise right there because he won the Daytona 500. We know there's a lot of speed in that car, but of course the way it all goes in terms of qualifying well here is getting a pull off of someone in front of you, and that is exactly what Daniel Paulus Jr. just did right there off of Duncan Ward. There's some fast drivers right here. All three of these guys have wins this season. Duncan Ward, Daniel Paulus Jr., and Drew Webb. He's still behind him. I don't get this. Yeah, and the thing is, this is going to hurt both of these guys because both Crampton and Barta. Did Crampton blow up as well, or is he just like... Oh, now you decide. Now you decide to go around him. Well, that took you long enough. We'll see if Crampton actually gets that thing wired back in to get back around. Anyways, back up to the front. You got Duncan Ward who's getting a push there from Daniel Paulus Jr. and Kirsten Bell in the 93 machine. And now you got Brian Webb who's found his way into the Fast 3 right there, and the Fast 6 as it will be in a moment. So Paulus and Duncan Ward, those are two drivers. You know, I said Duncan Ward could get his 4th pole of the season. He's got a shot at doing so if he can keep that thing in that position. He might be getting a little bit of a pull off of Nathan Smith and Kirsten Bell right here. Kirsten Bell now 5th. And that would be good for 9th place starting position tomorrow, if she can in fact hold on to it right there. 05 of Dylan Matthews. She just went up to the 2nd position right there in the 05. But LJ Semedo just got a huge push there. So did Nathan Smith and Kirsten Bell. These three drivers are in line. Now these drivers, Drew Webb has just gone to the top of the board in the 18 machine, and Duncan Ward moved back up to 3rd, and Paulus is now 5th. So it seems like that guy in front seems to get a good pull right there. They get a really good push. LJ Semedo had a shot there getting it in. Nathan Smith is the one now who is in that Fast 6 of these guys in line. Now, this is the kind of race that LJ Semedo could win, of course, too. Won the Daytona 500 last year, driving for this team. He's actually been with this team all 3 seasons of the Wawa Cup Series. He's stuck there with Titan Fury that whole time. And Drew Webb, of course, a former racer for that team. 2 unchartered guys now in the Fast 6. That is the 45 of Eric Monaco and the 05 of Dylan Matthews. They have found their way into the Fast 6 right there. LJ Semedo's now 4th, and Nathan Smith is 5th in line with Duncan Ward. Now Philip Torres just went up to the 5th position. Not enough to make it into the Fast 6 with that one. Still a great run there for Philip Torres in the 52 machine, trying to make his way into a good run here. This is a driver who's looking for his first win in the Wawa Cup Series. Has had a couple of those solid runs as of late. He's 23rd in points right now. But right now it's Drew Webb, Dylan Matthews, and Eric Monaco, the fastest 3, and I don't know if anyone's going to get to him right here. We'll see if Kirsten Bell has a shot here, and then nope, time's out. Time's running out. It's done. Wow, that was fast. It is going to be Drew Webb, Dylan Matthews, and Eric Monaco going for the pole here at Talladega. LJ Semedo will start 7th. Philip Torres will start 9th. Matt Black will start 11th. Nathan Smith will start in the 13th position. Duncan Ward will start 15th. Kirsten Bell will start 17th. Daniel Paulus Jr. will start 19th. Brad Stover going to start in the 21st position, I should say. Brian Webb's going to start 23rd. Leonard Kochmer is going to start 25th, I should say. Roberto Crown Jr. is going to start 27th. Justin Zeidel going to start 29th. Ludovic Schreck going to start 31st. Matthew Hubert is going to start 33rd. Isaac Nichols is going to start 35th. Logan Williams is going to start 37th. Travis Crampton all the way back in 39th. He never got going after getting stuck behind Trey Bartow there. And Bartow absolutely never got going. He is going to start in the 41st position for tomorrow's Mountain Dew 500. Let's go ahead and get to Group B, see who joins Drew Webb, Dylan Matthews, and Eric Monaco going for the pole here from the Talladega Superspeedway. And here we go for Group B here from the Talladega Superspeedway. A very interesting set of guys who made it on to Group A, through Group A, I should say, to the Fast 6, being Eric Monaco. Of course, Eric Monaco's not too much of a surprise. He won the Daytona 500. But Dylan Matthews and Drew Webb, definitely a little bit surprising. Neither driver has had the best of seasons, though Drew Webb has gone the victory lane in the Wawa Cup Series already this year, but we really don't anticipate him actually having a good season. We'll just have to see how that ends up shaking out for him. Dylan Matthews, only her 2nd start of the season, is going to have an opportunity of winning the pole here for the Mountain Dew 500. Bryce Egan in the 9. It's been slipping a little bit for Trackhouse Racing as of late. Bruno Diacomo's fallen outside the top 10, now down 14th in the standings. Bryce Egan down to 6th in the standings after he was 2nd in the points a few races ago. The Darlington-Bristol-Rockingham stretch did not fare too well for those guys, and we'll have to see if they can rebound here. This is definitely a racetrack that any team, any driver can win, no matter how bad of a team they're on. Rogel Dorn won this race 2 years ago, and Rogel Dorn's got an opportunity at making good of something that has not been a good season for him this year. We'll see if that works out for him in the 47 machine, or in the 74, I should say. And there is our defending race winner here in the Wawa Cup Series, Andrew Miller. I went out with Andrew Monday after I recorded that race, didn't even say a word to him about him winning. He still doesn't know as the time of me recording this qualifying session, but he's going to find out. He has already found out, of course, and I know he is going to be very happy about that. But I think the bigger story is that was Durrani Racing's first win in the Wawa Cup Series. A team that has been around since the beginning of the series and has actually had teams for a long time, and great to see Ryan pull through, get a race victory with his driver of Andrew Miller at a racetrack where it is difficult to get a race win. That was actually Andrew Miller's second win in Rockingham on the Cup level, interestingly enough. He actually won in 2020 in the Cup Series. I had totally forgotten about that. But he got another one there, and Andrew Miller, 18th in the standings. He is a little ways behind that cutoff, though. That line to the cutoff is starting to really get wide there. You got a few guys that are right behind it, like Paulus, like Keys, like Nathan Smith, and then when you get down to where Miller is there, he's already 47 points behind the cutoff, and he's only 8 positions off. It was not like that a couple weeks ago. But Andrew Miller definitely on the up and up, and he's going to have a good opportunity, I think, at making the chase as we move on throughout the season. This is the halfway point of the regular season as well. Race 11. Sorry, we're already halfway through it. Who am I kidding? We're already halfway through the regular season, so we are at the halfway point. There's still 11 races left to go until we get to the chase. Going to be fascinating to see who makes it in, because I think there are some guys who are in that top 10 who are going to fall back, and there's some guys who are going to move their way up who are outside the top 10 currently. Blaine Keys is one of those guys who's kind of hovered around it as of late. It has not necessarily been the start to the season he would have hoped for, but keep in mind Pacific Racing did win here at Talladega last year with Thomas Troxel. This team's definitely good. We know that they are good. It's just that they have the luck. And Blaine Keys had a shot in winning last week, and honestly, if he had done the same thing Andrew Miller had done, he would have won the race. But came down 15 laps to go to get fresh tires and thought he had enough time to be able to make it up. And if it weren't for all the lap cars, and, we just saw with Travis Crampton, sometimes these guys decide to just not pass the drivers. Well, that ended up being the case, and Blaine ended up getting a top 20 finish, but a finish much worse than what it would have been had he played a different strategy in that one at Rockingham Speedway. And it's kind of just been that kind of season for Blaine Keys. He's had a couple of great opportunities. As a matter of fact, the past 2 weeks he has had. He honestly should be coming into this race back-to-back winners, if you really, really stop and think about it, because he should have won Bristol. He could have won Bristol. Laura Chung had a great run in that race, and she obviously was up to par with Blaine in that event. But Blaine, of course, blew an engine, never got the opportunity to race for the win. And then, of course, last week, bad strategy took him out of the race victory. But he's got the pace, and we clearly saw that last week at Rockingham. He just hasn't gotten the win yet. Now, next week, he is heading to a racetrack where he is the only winner in the Wawa Cup Series, and that is the Texas Motor Speedway. He is the only driver to have won at the Texas Motor Speedway in the Wawa Cup Series. Looking for 3 in a row at Texas next week. I feel pretty good about him in that regard. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case for him. Bryce Egan is the fastest. Alex Sanventali and Avery Alford. Avery Alford really one of the only guys who was currently in that Fast 6, though he's not in it anymore. Jack Haas and Jared Martin got 3 uncharted guys that are in that Fast 6 right now. And these guys are getting a pull off of Thomas Troxel. Jack Haas and Jared Martin with a good run. They're going to get an even better lap this time around as long as they keep it in the gas, because they're pulling right to that back bumper of the 62 machine. Jack Haas looking for his second win of the season. I know I said at the top of the show here, do they have enough time? I don't think they have enough time to get back around. Look at that. Jesse Turner just went to the top of the board and then got knocked off in the same amount of time. He had it, and then he instantly lost it because Blaine Keys, Angel Gutierrez, and Avery Alford had other ideas. They were actually pulling right behind those guys. And we'll see here if Jack Haas and Jared Martin have a shot here. They got a lot of speed there from that 62, but it might not have been enough. And it will be Blaine Keys, Angel Gutierrez, and Avery Alford. All three of these guys helping each other out in a line. That is good for Gutierrez, the only guy who has not really come close to winning a race this season of these three. Because Alfred had a great shot at winning last week, and he decided to come down the pit lane. Still got a top 5 out of it, but still, not the right call. Andrew Miller had the right call at the end of that one last week. That was interesting. Blaine Keys, Angel Gutierrez, and Avery Alford make it into the Fast 6. Jesse Turner was fastest for 2 seconds. And then Blaine Gutierrez and Alford took it away from him. How about that? Hey, it'll be an 8th place start for Jesse Turner. That's definitely the best starting position he's had all season, I think, at this point. Great run for him right there. Bruno Diacomo will start 10th. Alex Sanvitali will start in the 12th position. Bryce Egan will start 14th. Jack Haas will start 16th. Jared Martin will start 19th. 18th. Laura Chung will start 20th. Zachary Fitzwater will start 22nd. Braden Perez will start 24th. Andrew Miller will start 26th. Christian Master will start 28th. Chris Reynolds will start in the 30th position. Tanner Parton will start 32nd. Nicholas Sambadia will start 34th. Bernardo de Oliveira will start 36th. Rogaloran will start 38th. J.R. Ribbleton will start 40th. Thomas Troxel, defending winner here at Talladega. And honestly, that's where he's been all these races. Troxel's like blown an engine or had something go wrong in like 3 straight races. I don't know what's up with those guys. He just keeps on dropping. He's 24th in points now, Troxel is. This is the guy who's won the regular season championship the past 2 years. And he's 24th in points right now. Yikes. His teammate's going to have a shot at the pole, but he's not. He's going to start 42nd in tomorrow's Mountain Dew 500. All right, let's get on to the Fast 6 here. Avery Alford going to lead us off here for single car runs at Talladega. And here we go to start the Fast 6 here from Talladega. Now it's all up to the way these cars are set up and how fast they truly are by themselves. And that's what makes this little session a little bit interesting, because it's not like that in the race. Especially here at Talladega, these guys are cycling through quite a bit on this racetrack, and it's very possible that Thomas Troxel could go and win the race from the 42nd starting position tomorrow. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. We know that Avery Alford has been pretty fast as of late, almost won last week at Rockingham. And this team as a whole has done an excellent job. Team Williams very strong here with Andrew Williams at the helm. He is definitely proud of his 2 drivers. Duncan Ward, of course, got the win at Darlington, and Avery Alford currently 10th in the point standings, and once again, another Fast 6 for Alford here. And Avery going to have an opportunity at getting his first pole of the season. Something that his teammate Duncan Ward did 3 times earlier in the year. That lap does not count, by the way, because the way the start-finish line is here at Talladega, it is past where these guys come off the pit lane. So that does not count. Of course, these lap times are going to be much slower than what we saw in the session, because these guys are all by themselves, and you can tell they're going about 175 by themselves right now, which I don't know if that's necessarily what the actual speed is going to really be for some of these guys. I'm wondering if that 13 might be off a cylinder. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they do just go that slow by themselves here. They're going to be pushing 195, 200 in the race tomorrow, though, so they'll be going a little bit faster than that. And it also takes a while for these guys to wind it up, even though it's a 5-mile radius that Alfred has shown us here. Just now hitting 181. Going to be a 53.533 for Avery Alford and Team Williams. Eric Monaco, Daytona 500 champion earlier this year. Looking to back it up with another Super Speedway win. Looking to become the first driver to win multiple races this season in the Wawa Cup Series, and he actually has a very decent opportunity at doing so. We know how good racing motorsports generally is on the Super Speedways, though Talladega is a bit of a wild card for everybody. It plays out a lot differently than it does at Daytona. These guys dominate that Valvoline 400 every year. This race isn't really dominated by anybody, so we'll see. But Monaco has an opportunity at winning the pole here. Has to beat a 53.533 that was set by Avery Alford. And we will see if Monaco has the opportunity to beat that time. I like it when we do the Fast 6 at Bristol, and I'd already be like 3 or 4 drivers in at this point. Take our dandy old time right here. 159 across the line. That ain't gonna cut it. This car is off a cylinder. That is... There's something wrong with this car. That is absolutely the case. I don't normally... Yeah. Wow. That's unfortunate. That's the first time we've had that. There actually is, as you can see right there, engine damage on that 45 here in this qualifying session. Wouldn't you know it? Reminds me of when Thomas Troxel failed to qualify for the Indy 250, which, by the way, we're only a couple of weeks away from Indy 250 qualifying, which I am going to be back at doing. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be calling that again. Caleb did a great job with that last year, of course. Reminds me a lot there of Troxel ended up not getting a lap in his session, and that is not going to fully be the case for Monaco, but that they're going to have to work on that overnight. 1 minute 2:06. That's his official time. He'll start 6th tomorrow, but still a great starting position for Eric Monaco nonetheless. Angel Gutierrez next in line in the 36. It has not been a good season for Angel so far, but he is looking to make better of that. And this is definitely a racetrack where we can see guys who have had tough seasons get a race victory. I mean, I look back at Rogaldorn a couple of years ago when he got this race win and did not have a good season to go along with that. And that's kind of the case for Rogel at this point, unfortunately, as well. But we'll see what he can do in tomorrow's race. We'll see what Angel's going to do in this race. Of course, Millennium Motorsports has had a decent run this season with Gutierrez and Brain Perez. Perez has definitely been the stronger driver of the two up to this point. But this 36 machine looking to start on pole. Of course, he's already going faster than what Eric Monaco did. Monaco, unless someone else has another engine issue and they don't get around here full speed, Eric Monaco will more than likely be the 6th place starter for tomorrow's race. A little bit faster here for Angel Gutierrez, and I actually have a feeling that these guys might be a bit faster than Team Williams on the super speedways in pure pace. We'll see if that ends up being the case. 179 across the line there for Angel Gutierrez. Going to hit 180 there going in the turn number 1. He's going to hold 180 here. This 36 definitely has a lot more speed than what Avery Alford had. And we'll see if they set it up like that for the race as well, because the faster your car is, the harder it's going to be to maneuver in traffic, and it's going to be a cycle race, no doubt about it. So you definitely want to be able to maneuver, because the more you're able to maneuver your car back to that inside lane, the easier it's going to be in position to win the race come the end of the race. But hey, you know, the big wild card is the big one. We will see a couple of wrecks tomorrow, and we anticipate that being a huge factor in tomorrow's race as well. But Angel Gutierrez is going to be hoping that that's all behind him to start off the race, because it looks like he's going to go to the top of the board here with this run. 181 now. 182 is going to probably pop on the screen there, and it will. And Angel Gutierrez will go to the top of the board with that one. 53.115. So 0.4 of a second faster than Avery Alfa right there. And Gutierrez goes to the top of the board here at Talladega. Dylan Matthews from the Uncharted session to the main session, to the Fast 6. And Eric Monaco did that as well. But this is only Dylan Matthews' second start of the season. And that came at Martinsville. Didn't really have the best of runs in that race. This is a race where she has an opportunity to get something to go her way. This team, Titan Fury Racing, has a lot of strength on the super speedways. They've gotten a couple of those super... Actually, have they only gotten the one with LJ? Because Racing Motorsports, they have 3 of the 7 super speedway races that have been run. Dracoan had the first one. Full Frontal Motorsports and Pacific Racing have the other. So Titan Fury only does have the one. With Racing Motorsports, they have 3 of them. They got an opportunity to go 4. Titan Fury, though, has an opportunity to go on 2 tomorrow. They're going to have 3 drivers in the race. Of course, both LJ Semedo and Zachary Fitzwater driving for Igor's team. We'll see what Dylan Matthews can do here on her fast lap. This is not her fast lap here. And not quite 180 across the line, so a little bit slower than what we saw out of Angel Gutierrez right there. A lot easier to kind of determine how well these guys do on the super speedways in comparison to some of these other racetracks that we go to. Because they're essentially just going the same speed the whole way around, and they're going a little bit slower in certain parts. It's kind of obvious that that whole lap is going to be slower than the one that we just saw, and that is the case, I think, for Dylan Matthews, though I feel like this is probably going to split between Gutierrez and Alfred. Alfred was not quite as up to speed there as I thought we would have seen. But we'll have to see what Dylan Matthews can do, if she can pull off a solid time right here, find her way in the second position. Hey, it's at least better than Eric Monaco, who's still was over a minute on his time. That was because of the engine issue that he had. Oh, she's picking up a lot of speed right there. Going to be 183 across the line. This could be close, and it will actually go to the top. A lot of speed there in the last part of that lap, and Dylan Matthews, she goes to the top of the board, 52.912 in the 05. Only 2 drivers less, and the next one's Blaine Keys. Let's see what he can do here in the 32 machine. And here is Blaine Keys for Pacific Racing. Looking to still get his first pole of the season. I don't think... No, I'm wrong about that. He did win the pole at Bristol, so he got it 2 weeks ago. Now he's got an opportunity of getting a pole at a place where it is... It's kind of hard to get the pole. It's all up to the car. It really is. This is more up to the car than any other track. This and Daytona. And we'll see if Pacific Racing has what it takes to get Blaine Keys a good run. Don't tell me he had a problem too. Okay, no. It just takes a while. We got the restrictor plates on here. We didn't used to do that, but I think it has added a very different dimension to the racing, especially at Daytona. A lot of y'all told me that Daytona 500 we had in February was one of the best Daytona 500s we have ever had on the channel. And I think it played out very well. It was a very fun and entertaining race. And you know what? This 32 doesn't quite have the speed that we've seen. It's going to either be Dylan Matthews or Drew Webb winning this pole. And I actually think Dylan Matthews is going to win the pole, because I don't know if the Grattan cars quite have what it takes to be fast in single car runs here either. Remember what happened to all the Toyota teams and Grattan for the most part. Ladova kept it in the draft in the Valvoline 400 last year. These guys do not set up their program for the super speedways. And it's going to be very interesting to see if that ends up hurting them in the race long term tomorrow, because this ain't it. This ain't it at all. It's not going to be a pole for Blaine Keys here today, though he will be faster than Eric Monaco. So, you know, there's something to be happy about. He'll probably might get inside lane on that third lane right there, which is a great place to start there. Picking up the speed again there, coming across the line, but it's not going to be enough to get up to the top, and it will be just a little bit faster than Avery Alford. It's going to go to third right now, so Blaine Keys 53.476. And here is the 2023 Wawa Cup Series champion of Drew Webb in the 18. He got the fastest time in Group A, and I think he's got the fastest time of the day as well, if I'm not mistaken. He does. 6.48, so fastest lap of the day. Of course, that was in the draft, so that doesn't really mean much, but it got him an opportunity at his first pole of the season. I am right about that, right? I wasn't right about that with Blaine. Drew Webb, yep, has not gotten a pole yet this year, so we'll see if he can, in fact, get the pole here at Talladega, though. You know, gotta be honest, I don't think it's going to be enough in the car to be able to get the pole, and like I said, these guys set up very differently for very different races. They go long-term, while some of these teams do focus on these super speedways, hence Racing Motorsports. I think if Monaco did not have the issue that he had, he actually probably would have been the favorite to win the pole. But Drew Webb's going to give it all he's got here in the 18 machine. He's got a win already at Circuit of the Americas earlier this year, but has slipped up quite a bit as of late. He is 180 across the line, so this might actually be an opportunity for Drew Webb, who's actually been on the thumbnail for the prior two qualifying races. I don't know who's on the thumbnail for this. I determine that. I randomly determine which driver gets to be on the thumbnail for the qualifying videos. That's a random draw. I put it in the list randomizer on random.org. Whoever comes up top gets that. So that is done completely random, and I determine that well after I record the qualifying. Drew Webb's going to have a shot here. If he can hold this speed through turns 3 and 4 and get that speed going down the front stretch through the trial, he may actually take this pole away from Dylan Matthews. We're going to have to see. He's already going to hit 180 right there. He's got 181. Will it be 182? Will it be 183? It will. Let's see. Got to be a 912. It's an 838, and Drew Webb has won the pole for the Mountain Dew 500 here at Talladega. How about that? Right in the nick of time. Drew Webb going to be leading us off for the 12th race of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Well, that does it here from the Talladega Superspeedway, at least today. Drew Webb and Dylan Matthews on the front row. It's like 2023 all over again right there. Those were two drivers who were really good 2 years ago. Angel Gutierrez and Blaine Keys going to make up row number 2. Avery Alford and Eric Monaco in row number 3. And we got ourselves LJ Cimento and Jesse Turner in row 4. Philip Torres and Bruno Diacomo in row 5. Matt Black and Alex Sanventali in row 6. Nathan Smith, Bryce Egan in row 7. Duncan Ward and Jack Haas in row 8. Kirsten Bell and Jared Martin in row 9. Daniel Paulus Jr. and Laura Chung in row 10. Brad Stover and Zachary Fitzwater in row 11. Brian Webb and Braden Perez in row 12. Leonard Kochmer and Andrew Miller in row 13. Roberto Crown Jr. and Christian Matter in row 14. Justin Zidell and Chris Reynolds in row 15. Ladovic Charette and Tanner Parton in row 16. Matthew Hubert and Nicholas Sambidio row 17. Isaac Nichols, Bernardo Oliveira in row 18. Logan Williams, Rogaldor in row 19. Travis Crampton, J.R. Ribbleton in row 20. Trey Bartow, Thomas Troxel in row 21. It's anyone's race, as you can tell, tomorrow in the Mountain Dew 500. And we're going to get it going at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time right here, so we don't interfere with Amber Balkan-Recken and all the whole field at Talladega at 12:30 in the ARCA Series. I don't know why. We should compete with the ARCA Series. Well, people watch I watch the ARCA Series. I'm one of those incels that watch the ARCA Series. I tell you, it's one of my favorite things. It's a guilty pleasure of mine watching the ARCA Series. I love it. Hey, we're going to have some fun tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Drew Webb going to lead us off in the 12th race of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Thank you so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Drew Webb, and I will see you guys later.